Hoka hey, Alita Army. Welcome to the Alita Livestream of July the 8th, 2022. What do you like most about Alita? Where we discuss all things to do with the movie Alita Battle Angel, the source manga Gundam, and the greatly desired sequels. I am your host, the Muskogee Creek, and it looks like I'm the only one here for now, so and that's okay. We're going to have a kind of a short stream tonight because the Creek has got to get up early in the morning and drive halfway across the U.S., and I need to get a good night's sleep tonight. So, but we'll still have a really good discussion about Alita. And you know me, I could probably talk forever about this. So if you want to join in the stream here, all you got to do is click on the link. And you can come join in the discussion. And hola, ¿cómo está, Alejandro?
Hola, Crick. Muy bien. ¿Usted cómo está?
Yeah, good. So how's it going down there in Colombia?
Oh, very well, thank you. A lot of rain, very cold, but everything okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good. You know, we have it's getting hotter and hotter up here in Colorado. So yeah, but we're kind of glad we got past the snow anyway. We haven't had snow now for over a month, so that's a good thing. Well, yeah, right at a month, I guess. We did get some snow in early May, which was kind of weird. So, but anyway, that's what that is.
Oh, but
So,
it's very cool now, right?
say what, Alejandro?
But now it's very cold weather in this moment.
Yeah, well, it's not cold. It's warm up here. I think it's around 80 degrees or so Fahrenheit, maybe upper 80s, which is probably about, maybe 30 degrees Celsius, I guess.
Oh, it's very hot.
Yeah. And we just got joined by Safani Sung from California. How's it going, Safani Sung?
That's really good, Craig.
Oh, cool. Good to have you on with us. Haven't seen you for the last couple of streams, I guess. So it's good to have you.
I was taking a break and just do something with family or sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, you got to do that sometimes. Family's pretty important. So,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
that's cause COVID these days.
Yeah, yeah. So, how are things there in California?
It's all right, quick. Let's do something.
Oh,
I was going outdoors, indoors, do something, playing some video games. Hmm,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually
I just
part.
watch movies and something. Same thing, watch movies too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I actually spent part of my childhood was in California. I lived in La Puente for, I guess up till I was about 8 years old, I guess,
uh,
something like that. 8 or 9, somewhere in there, which was a long time ago.
I was born in California. Hmm,
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I was born in Florida. So.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I don't know if we're going to get Angelus or not. I don't know if he's still working. I thought he said he was off, but, so it's kind of tough there in Australia for them to get up early in the morning on the weekend, because it's there it's Saturday, so sometimes it gets a little tough on him, to get up early, but he's got to get his coffee and stuff like that. So it's all good, as they would say.
But now
Okay,
time of breakfast, right?
I'm sorry, Alejandro. Could you? Was that?
Yes, I was telling that in this time in Australia it's time for breakfast.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So maybe
Oh,
join us after a moment.
yeah. Yeah. Probably so. Yeah. So anyway, well, let's get. I guess we go ahead and get into the topic. But before we get into the topic, I guess got a little bit of sad news today, and I don't know. Probably a lot of you don't know who may not know who this person is, but or was. He was an actor. He was well known in the U.S. And he was actually in the movie Rollerball. And he was in several other movies. He wasn't in just Rollerball. But as you remember, we did a stream on the Radio Chaos show here about, probably about 4 or 5 months ago. And we talked about, how rollerball and motorball were similar and stuff like that. And of course, this person, James Caan, was actually played the main character in the movie. And he passed away, I think, day before yesterday. So, it's kind of sad. And I guess one of the things, I'm gonna play a very short video, and I'm not gonna turn the audio on because I don't want to get yeeted, But I guess Chaos Nova actually put together a quick little video, and this is kind of what he put together. Hopefully, you guys can see that. So, whoops, sorry about that. So you can see it's one of Alita saluting James Caan. She's got the raising the Damascus sword to salute him. So I go ahead and play it again so I don't mess up this time. And it's played to that last tune, I guess it was in Alita Battle Angel. So anyway, a little bit of a sad note there, I guess, to start the show out with. And Rollerball was one of my favorite movies. And I really enjoyed it. And as you know, if you remember from the stream, we did point out a lot of similarities and differences in the two games, which are, of course, fictitious games, but still, that was one of the important things about Rollerball was that Yukito Kishiro actually said it was a major influence on him writing the manga because he kind of took Motorball and he took Rollerball and kind of expanded on it greatly and had cyborgs play in the game and that kind of thing. It's similar in some regards too, and they both play with a ball. They're both on a track and stuff like that. So one's played by humans, obviously. The other's played by cyborgs. So, but anyway, James Caan passed away day before yesterday. So anyway, rest in peace, as they would say.
Sure. Great actor.
Yes, he was. He sure was. And I highly recommend anybody who wants to, watch Rollerball that they do. It's an older movie. It came out in 1975, I think. And it's really done well. I mean, I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. It may be on YouTube Movies. I'm not sure, but it's probably somewhere on some streaming service, so you can go look it up. Okay, to get to a little more happier note, I'm going to plug a couple of more things here. I finished watching Undone this week, and I tell you, this is a fantastic series. I really enjoyed it a lot. It's got really good scores on Rotten Tomatoes, and Rosa Salazar and all of the actors that were in this series were just fantastic. They were really super good at this. And it's basically about the main characters in this, which would be Rose's character was named Alma, and her sister Becca both have, and their father have kind of powers that they can rely on. One's time travel, and the other is empathy and being able to read thoughts, stuff like that. But it's not fantastical. I mean, it is some really good effects. It's shot in rotoscope, but the story is excellent. So I think if you go watch this, I think you'll watch it. You won't be able to stop watching it. I watched. Of course, I had to stop watching at some point because we all have to work. But I think it was Tuesday. I resumed watching it, and I said, "Well, I'm only going to watch like one episode," and I think it was the 5th episode. And then I watched that and I said, "Oh, now I got to see what's going to happen." And the next one, I watched the 6th episode. It's, "Oh no, now I got to see what's going to happen again." It just holds on to you, it just grabs you. And it's got kind of a twist for an ending too. So it's really, really done well. So I highly recommend watching Undone. Have you seen this either? Go ahead, Alejandro.
Yes, I saw them too. It's extraordinarily good series. Their history is very well. It's writing by Jake Cardy, and
Yeah.
it's so dynamic with so many different instances, traveling in time, in places, trying to find in the past the reason that there are problems in the present, and how
Yeah.
can maybe have the possibility to live your life in another way, changing some aspect of your past. I think it's so great, this possibility to open your
Yeah.
mind in different ways, um, and the beauty of the rotoscope, like seeing painting, oil painting moving, and
Yes.
all the emotions and the strong character of Alma, uh, played by Rosa Salazar during all the 8 chapters of the second season. It's so wonderful, so perfect, so emotion, so strong that as you said, it's impossible to finish one episode and not start the following, because
Yeah, that's right.
the history got you so much that when you finish the second season, you are hoping that the third season to know what happened with Alma, trying to help her to heal her mind, and to
Yeah.
the accept the truth of the life of their father. So
Yeah.
I strongly, as you, I recommend this story that is absolutely fantastic and very, very well rated in all the world, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. It just really grabs you. It's really good. What I like about the time travel part of this is it's not like, say, like other sci-fi movies. This is kind of both a sci-fi and a drama, I guess. And but what I do like about this is that you see time travel in other movies, but this kind of it's in some regards, it's similar to that series Loki, in which they have different timelines. And, Rose's character, Alma, is able to navigate them, and it's how they wrote that, how they pulled that off is just really exquisite. They did a great job on this. And go check this thing out. It's on Prime Video. If you don't have Prime Video, get the get the free version for the month or whatever it is they give you, and then watch it. Then you can get off of it if you want, But I highly recommend you everybody watch this.
Absolutely right. Sure.
Safani Sung, have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
I watched it. I just watched it in the first one season, the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I like about it is that season 1 was great, but correct me if I'm wrong, Alejandro or Safani. To me, the rotoscope seemed better. Not that it was bad in the first season; it was really good in the first season. But to me, it looks like they kind of made it even better. It seemed to have more resolution or something to it, But it's really outstanding.
Good. And I have heard some videos about Yusuke Holsing, the director, that he mentioned that in the second season he update and he made the technical more stronger and with more technical aspects, more finest, and I think the way that he travel in the mind, in the path, in the possibilities are so great. But the season 1 is so great because it's changing every time, from the path, from the places, from the mind, from the dreams. In that moment, you are traveling for so many places, so many instances that it's hard to follow in. And it's in the same way that the mind of the human behavior, because you are talking, for instance, in this live stream, you are thinking in many different instances, in the past, in the present, in the future, many things you are going to do, or you have done, or maybe it's possible that you lived in the past. In the same way, the construction of the season is so dynamic that open the possibility to many interpretations and many possibilities. And it's the advantage of this series that the screenplay is so good, so very well written, that catch you. And we are hoping the season 3 with so much emotion that the time will say when going to be that date.
Yeah, you're right. The screenplay was excellent. So anyway, check this out. Check out Undone season 2. Now, I will tell you, if you haven't seen season 1, you really need to see it first, because the way season 2 ends, if you haven't seen season 1, it's going to be it's going to be confusing. So watch season 1 first, and you can binge watch it. I mean, it's really good, so I don't think you have any problem with it.
Yes, sure.
Anyway, the other thing I want to plug is our other girl, Elle Lamont, this month on Crackle, Salvage Marines is going to premiere. And I haven't heard anything about when this is coming out, but it's on Crackle. I think you have to get the Plus subscription, Crackle Plus. But it's, just judging from who's in it, like Casper Von Dien is an example, and Amon Asante is in it, and of course Elle is in it. It's going to be a good series. It's going to be six episodes. And I was watching this afternoon. I was looking at some of the clips from Starship Troopers, which Casper Von Dien was in. He played Johnny Rico. If it's half as good as that, this is going to be a good series, and I think it's probably going to be at least as good, in my opinion. So catch this one on Crackle. If you just go to crackle.com, you can figure out get into your browser and go to crackle.com and check this out. I don't think it's premiered yet, but certainly you can find it, do a search on it or whatever. Okay, I guess let's get on to the main topic, I reckon. And before we do, before each one of us is going to say what we like about Alita, this has come up in some other streams that certainly Alita is really cute. So, that's where the uwu comes in. That's from Angelus, actually. And the Creek thinks she's got some uwu going too. So, she's cute, but she's also superhuman. She is a really good fighter. And a couple of the things that it's really neat about her, or one of the many things that's neat about her, is that she fights for what she believes in. And you can see this in both the movie and the manga. So and the anime too. I think too. I haven't seen the manga for quite a while, but it's actually you can see that in her in that too, because it was an adaptation, obviously. So she just sticks with it. She can be a little bit impulsive, she acts first sometimes before thinking things out, which is, not unusual for her. Now, I would say that she is strategic thinker, but when she's fighting or she's in the moment, she's not. She's just more tactical. She's just more reacting. Anyway, she's a very compassionate person. Now, yes, she's a fictitious character, so we can get past that early on. But she is very caring, and you could see that for how she cared about that little stray dog, and certainly she fell in love with Hugo, and she certainly was caring for her adopted father Ito. And Angelus just joined us. How's it going, Angelus?
Good. Slept in.
I forgot. I should have said good day, Angelus, but I didn't say that. So, so anyway, yeah, we haven't gotten too far. We just did a little bit of a tribute to James Caan and just plugged Undone and Salvage Marines again. So we haven't gone very far. But anyway, back to Alita. Certainly that perseverance and the determination, that is, and that ties pretty close to that fourth bullet up there. I mean, she when she has an objective, she is going to achieve it no matter what it takes. She's going to do it. So that's one of the traits about her the Creek really likes. So anyway, and I'm going to get to each one of you here in a little bit to see what you think about it. But anything we want to add on Alita's characteristics that any of you can think of?
No, you got the most important one in there.
Yeah, I put that up first. I figured you'd appreciate that. Yeah, our girl is cute, isn't she? There's no doubt about that. Cute to the point of where her enemies underestimate her, I think, at their own peril. She can be perceived as just a cute, sweet little girl, and then they try to fight her and she destroys them. So that's kind of the way it works with her, I think. One thing I don't have up here, I guess this could be part of the impulsive thing, but as I've mentioned a couple of times before, she can go sideways on you quickly. If you piss her off, and she maybe sees a threat or sees some other kind of danger or something, she can react on you in a heartbeat. As they would say in a famous game that the Creek used to play, she can get medieval on your ass. So, she can do that pretty quickly. But that I think is a part of her training. She's drawn to conflict and stuff like that. And it's not her first instinct to do that. Her first instinct, of course, she's compassionate and caring, Anything else, guys?
Well, I would say that another thing goes in the way of impulsive. I think that the fearless of Alita against the enemies or against any very hard situation,
Uh-huh.
independently of the possibility of risk for her life. He's completely fearless. He's go exactly in the exact point of the enemy and attack
Yeah.
them. I think
Yes.
it's great. It is a great movement, like you mentioned, the throne of the conflict. Uh, from the beginning of the film, uh, when she was young, from all the movie, she did-
Yeah.
she showed us how she goes without any hesitation against the enemy.
Mhm.
This is one of
Yeah.
the
She.
aspects I would like to highlight. Okay, and the another
Yeah.
is the looking for the truth. I think it's so very interesting because from the beginning, when she knows about the murder of the woman, and she is doubt about the Dr. Ito that it could be the murderer. He goes in the night following him to know the truth, to know the truth about herself, about who she is. That's interesting in to find the real the deep truth of the life of the environment of the person of herself. I think it's absolutely great. I think.
Yeah. 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 That's two good points you brought up there. The fact that she is on a journey to discover herself. She wants to know the truth about her, about her past and that kind of thing. But another thing you brought up, which was kind of like that sixth bullet you see there, uh, if she has to act, she's not timid about it, is she? I mean, if she acts, she just acts. I mean, some people may freeze a little bit, if they are threatened somehow or there's danger or whatever. Not our girl. I mean, if she gets threatened or anyone in her who she knows or loves gets threatened, uh, she's going to act immediately, and it's going to be sudden. It's not going to be kind of a, well, am I going to do this or not? No, it's not going to be that. It's quite the opposite. It's going to be, yes, I'm going to do this, and it's almost like there's a famous gunfighter in the old American West called Bill Hickok. He used to say, "Shoot first and ask questions later." That would be kind of like Alita, if she was threatened in some way. She would definitely act, and she would do it quickly and without any hesitation. So,
Sure.
anything else, guys?
Nothing that I can come up with yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's ask our guests first. Alejandro, what is it that you like most about Alita? And tell us that. And it doesn't have to be like. What is it you love most about Alita? I mean, it could be anything in that ballpark.
Well, I for, for the first time that I saw the movie, I was touched by the emotion of the character, like his his, his big eyes, his lovely smile, um
Yeah,
her voice. Uh, you can't see another part of the screen because the character catch you so immediately, um, because it's a very uh, unique personage in this movie, and and the way that she um, goes from different aspects, different situations, it's
yeah,
surprising any time. You if you have seen so many films, it's very specific and very unique how she behavior in different instances that is surprising. The screaming, the way that she being a young girl goes for Ito and trying to find if she is a murder, or she goes, for instance, without hesitation, as you said, and goes to the lake and walk under the water uh, without thinking about the oxygen for her brain, and goes to
Yeah.
the arm tube, find the tube, and some kind of that situation that makes the behavior, the character, um, the personage is really unique, because
Yeah.
it's surprising. It's very difficult to can imagine what's going to find in the next scene, because the the manga history and the film is constructed in a very surprising way. That's
Yeah.
the way it catch me so much.
So the fact that when she sees something that needs to be acted upon, she acts on it, and you like that about her, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I guess, a lot of, I can remember when I first came in the Alita Army, I came in at the tail end of that really turbulent time back in in 2019 and the early 2020, where people were freaked out about her eyes, but you were not, were you, Alejandro?
Okay.
I mean, her eyes, I thought I heard you say you thought her eyes were beautiful the first time you saw them.
Yes. From the first thing that she's waking, she opens her eyes. He
Yeah.
cuts, because it's surprising. You can imagine what's going to happen. Oh my
Yeah.
God! The manga living
Yeah.
person. Oh, this is great. And the another point that catch me is the music. Tom Holkenborg was a great, great composer and made so beautiful music for this film that got me so much. I think it's great. As I writing, and I have said to you in another live stream, I the continuity of the music during all the film. For me, it's like an opera, and you
Yeah.
find some leitmotif in a very Italian line of operas like Verdi or Puccini, very emotional,
Yeah.
strong, beautiful. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
charge of this emotion of the thing with the very good performance of Rosa that really really catch you. And as you mentioned in another little stream, you can make the tears appear in your eyes from some things, like with depression of Alita, thinking that it was like a garbage thrown from Salem, or maybe
Yeah.
when Hugo, that she's dying or she's falling from the tube at the end of the film. That's very
Yeah.
strong and emotional, and
Yeah.
in with the music got you so much. It's absolutely
Yes. Yes. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Yeah. That ending, the music was really appropriate for the ending, wasn't it? So, yeah, it sure was. Let me welcome Kunstler99 before we keep going. How's it going, Kunstler?
Oh, it's going in the car as always.
Cool.
Jeffy.
How's
How's
things
it
there in
going, everybody?
Chicago? How far are
Yeah.
you away from Highland Park?
I'm a ways. I mean, again, if I wanted to
Yeah.
get into downtown Chicago, I'm about 50 minutes out
Oh,
by
okay.
car.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Highland Park is. Yeah, Highland Park's north of Chicago, and I guess, and you're more southwest, aren't you, or something like that?
oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
more like directly west.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Kunstler, I guess I'll go ahead and ask you, what do you like or love most about Alita?
Um, the fact that she's not perfect. The
Yeah.
fact that she is a human character that like very quickly has to kind of develop and push through almost the infantile stages of becoming aware of her consciousness again, and kind of quickly just taking all that information in, and her journey of discovering herself as almost a new person separate from her past,
Yeah.
and and her journey of reconciling her past to the new identity that she's built, and how those two end up having to reconcile together is pretty much the entire arc of what Alita Battle Angel is. But two, it's packed with just her successes, her mistakes, the points that she's completely ashamed of the decisions she's made, points where she thought she was making the right choice and completely screwed things up, and basically just seeing that journey, the journey of just seeing her character develop, grow stronger, sometimes become weaker, sometimes for the detriment of the character, sometimes for the betterment of the character. It's just kind of seeing all of those intricacies of that character is what makes me kind of love the story and love the character.
Yeah. What did you? I don't. How long have you been in the Elite Army, Kunstler?
Well, as far as like in the fandom,
Yeah.
as part of the Alita Army, I would say I came in. I want to say it was pretty much right at the 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
Of it being released, so it was like pretty much right at the beginning of like 2020, because like right around that February time frame, so right before the shutdown, was when I was kind of starting to get involved. But I've been of just the source material since 2005. I first knew her as a character from the manga, and that's, and honestly, I think however you were introduced to, because of how impactful it is, I think people gravitate towards their first experience because that's what was so like eye-opening to it. So for me, my favorite source material is still the manga because that's how I was introduced to it. That's how I connected with it. And honestly, if anyone hasn't read the manga, I highly recommend that you do, because of the fact that you connect with it in such a deeper way, in my opinion, because you have time to digest the pictures. You have time to kind of digest the inner monologue of the character, the inner thoughts that are on paper, that in the movie they try to, as best they can, and very successfully, I have to say, they kind of try to show you what she's feeling or thinking, but in the manga, it's really written out, kind of what
that's right.
That was. And again, I think to me, that's why, like, you can read a chapter, you can put it down, you're thinking about it, and then when you get back to it, you're kind of going back where you left off. You have so much more time to digest that book than you do watching the movie for 2 hours. But that, again, that's why I love that source material so much.
Yeah. It sounds like you and I have kind of a similar, although I knew who Alita was back in, say, the mid 2000s, because I think I've told this story several times. My second wife would go, and she would go to a sewing class or a quilting thing or whatever. And while we would go to this one place in that same strip mall, there was a comic book store. And I remember seeing Alita Battle Angel Alita in the comic book store. They sold manga, they sold graphic novels, they sold comic books, they sold all kinds of stuff. And I remember, going through it and, seeing, hey, this is interesting and stuff like that. But I didn't really make a connection with it, And then I came in about the early 2020, is when I actually got into the Alita Army. So, and that's how I really connected with it, was through the movie, as where you got connected with it through the manga. But that said, uh, I've read the manga and I've started reading it again. I think Angelus is way ahead of me on it now in the second reading. But, I've gotten through most of the first book on the book set. And, and you're absolutely right. To get the same kind of in-depth comprehension of Alita and Alita Battle Angel, the movie, and everything she's going through and the environment, you have to see the movie a bunch of times. I mean, and then think about it and then see it again. You see things you missed the first time. And whereas with the manga, you're right. You read it, you think about it, you can put it down, think about it some more, pick it back up, and you read it some more, and you can probably, once you start reading it, you really get into it. It can be difficult to put down for sure, but, I think you're absolutely right. I think you can get a more in-depth understanding reading the manga, and it does not spoil the movie, or neither does the movie spoil the manga in either way, because they are slightly different. I mean, they're based on the same thing, but they're slightly different.
Right. Yeah. And honestly, that story, like, even though I've watched the movie so many times I can't really even remember.
Yeah.
I've read the manga. It's got to be at least 10 times that I've read the manga series.
Wow.
Especially the first one, because I read it like when I first started reading it. I think they only had 7 volumes of Last Order at the time. So like when I got through it, I had to wait for the next one to come out. And and again, it was, sometimes it'd be like a year or two before the next one could come out. And sometimes you don't even realize it. So you have to like consciously like look for it and find it.
Yeah.
But now with that too, with the manga, especially the original series, like each panel was like drawn too. Like the guy hand drew those things before they went to get scanned and put in the book. So, and this is one of the few artists that not only did the story development, but did the actual artistry of it too. So it's so cohesive to how it was drawn and how the story was told, because he didn't have to communicate to an artist, this is what I want. He knew what he was drawing and he knew what he was writing. So it was so cohesive with it too.
Yeah.
The other
and
part
he's good at both, isn't he?
A lot about it too was that because I was, a huge fan of martial arts and I was in karate at the time. Like I was doing karate before I even knew about the manga. And so in that aspect too, since I was doing karate and I was in martial arts and I was kind of in that, being 16, going through high school, not knowing what my future is going to be like. And you have this character that kind of seems like that same age, is dealing with identity issues, defining their life. There's a lot of those similarities that I could relate to at the time. Again, just made you appreciate it, and I also appreciated the fact that Kishiro is an artist, paid enough attention to martial arts enough to know that if he was drawing something on the stance and how the body should stand, how the body when he was depicting the martial arts, it was relatively accurate to what actual martial arts stances, moves, techniques were actually like too. So I, like, every time I saw an action panel and I see oh, okay, yeah, that is very much how that stance would go if you were throwing a forward punch or a kick.
Yeah.
So him understanding that enough to respect that art, to draw it accurately, also gave me a lot of respect for the story in and of itself too.
Yeah.
Because of how dedicated he was to those small details.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I think Angelus and I have talked about this on other streams. There's that, one example of how accurate it was to martial arts. Now there's some showbiz stuff in it for sure, but like that mirror scene, where she does the snake creeps down, she does the chain punch, and does kind of the inward and outward block, that was very much like a karate technique, so, and that's Because I remember the first time I saw that, I said, "Oh wow, look at that!" It was really amazing how accurate it was. So, what style did you take, Kunstler, when you were in karate?
It was called a hard and soft style, but I mean,
Okay,
so it was called Goju Shorei was the name of the style. Um,
okay,
so it was mainly defensive. There was really no weapon studies at all. It was more so
yeah,
about avoidance. There was not so much direct going in aggressive. It was mainly kind of a self defense class um,
yeah,
in its style. But honestly, it was more of a park district class that had the leader of the actual whole organization had his eighth degree black belt. Um, so he was high up there. He wasn't like a 10th degree or anything, but he was up there for sure. And
yeah.
I know the class that I went to was kind of more geared towards kids, and I just quickly
Okay,
got up to kind of being one of the like helpers, volunteers, leaders.
yeah,
That was like because I was like, I think it was right around like age 17, 18 was when I kind of ended up kind of refocusing on work and stuff. Um,
yeah.
so basically at that point, I never tested for my black belt because I never had the money to do it. But I was basically I was alongside the first and second degree black belts. So
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I remember my black belt test. It was really tough. Yeah, but I got it. But boy, it was tough. I was beat to a pulp, but I still got it. So yeah, okay, yeah. That's interesting, Kunstler. Okay, Safani Sung, what is it that you like most or love most about Alita?
Um, it must be like a motorball action. I think
Okay,
I want to see maybe Mars Condor and more scenes and
okay.
I want to see more
So you,
Badlands, the Badlands and
okay,
areas.
yeah. Oh, yeah. So you kind of like the sports part of
Yeah,
Motorball, and
yeah,
you want to see continuation into the Badlands, right? Is that what
yeah,
I understood?
yeah, maybe. I
Okay,
don't know. I
yeah,
can't think about it. Okay.
yeah. I think we'd all like to see Alita go into the Badlands. I mean, that's going to be, uh, God. I mean, there's so much they can do with this IP. I mean, they got so much going for them on it. Uh, you got the Badlands, you got Zalem, you got Jeru. Uh, you got look at all the material you got too. I mean, it's just unbelievable. All the different characters from Mars Chronicles all the way through the Last Order. All the characters, all the people that she, actually comes in contact with throughout her entire story. It's just amazing. So okay, guys. Anything else that you might want to add to what you love most or like most about Alita?
I would like to tell you that, mm, as you said, the universe of Alita is so huge that the film is the door that opens to a very uh, cosmos so huge, so big, so
Yeah,
emotion that you want to check more. I want to know more. I want to read all the manga books and the novelization and the prequel book of Pat Cadigan and to wait for the sequel so expected and to know what is so many different elements that like a Bible because it's so many books, so many histories, so many characters. The question of Alita against Nova, for instance, is a huge of elements, so
yeah,
different complex
uh,
universe that you have
yeah.
step by step to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is just so much material that they can use. I mean, you're right. The Alita verse is humongous. I mean, it is yeah, it is very large for sure. And if you track her all the way, say from the beginning of Mars Chronicles, all the way through the end of the Last Order, of course, kind of I guess the second volume of the book set, or the Mars Chronicles rather, is kind of like post Last Order, but still, if you go through that whole story, her development, you follow her all the way from being, briefly a baby, I guess, and a toddler, all the way up to the point where she has, like at the end of Last Order, she has like godlike powers. I mean, it's amazing to see the character develop like that over the entire spread of the story. And it is. I think it's as rich as anything the MCU or the DCEU can put out. To me, to me it is. Now I love the DCEU and the MCU. I think that I love the movies and all that kind of stuff. But I think Disney is they're missing an opportunity. I think because they got so much material, so much just so much behind all the Elitaverse. Look how much they could use. They could kind of make modifications to it. They can go several different directions with it. To come up with several movies, I think, and some series, and do an anime and stuff like that. So, anyway, I'm digressing here to last week's stream. So, anyway.
Sure.
Okay, guys, I guess Angelus, I guess you and I are going to get our turn now. I guess, what is it that you like or love most about Alita?
As some might already know the story, I showed up at the cinema one evening, and it was a choice between Alita and some other random movie. And Alita received the most crap, as I was like doing a quick Google search of like what the movie was. I mean, I already knew who Alita was, but that was the extent of my knowledge at the time. And I saw how much she was just getting like torn a new one in terms of reviews and critics and all that other jazz, as we all know.
Yeah.
So I decided to, flip the middle finger at the critics and go watch Alita. And
yeah.
So you could say that I initially loved Alita because the critics hated her. And I walked it, and afterwards I couldn't remember how I got home because I was like, my mind was Alita-fied by then.
Yeah.
And I guess from like looking back at trailers and whatnot, the eyes, were one point of the main point of contention, and it didn't pull me out of immersion, but it didn't put me in it as well, because I could clearly see that they were different, but I didn't care at the time because I thought the movie as it was playing was was good.
Yeah.
And because I did know the anime at the time, I saw all the anime references and thought, wow, this is pretty a good adaptation. And I noticed that all the other guys were saying like, oh, it's like shit, doesn't pay respect to the source material. And I knew there was a manga, but never read it. So, that's when I started looking up the manga, started looking up the fandom. And I'm thinking, what are you guys talking about? It's like, that's the most... Alita is the best adaptation, not just because it's Alita, but because it managed to pay respect to the source material the most, while still telling its own story, its own details. They replaced Gonzu with Gerhard. They made Shirin into a brunette instead of a blonde, etc. Like details like this that, if they did a carbon copy, they'd be accused of that. So there's so many things that they did right. and in a way, that's what I love most about Alita. Yes, Uwu is always going to be a factor. The fan
Yeah.
art, and then
Yeah.
ultimately, this all led to the people that I've discovered, met through the fandom, like you, Dan, Jeff, Maxi, Dizzy. The list goes on. Give me a few minutes, I'll be able to roll them all
Yeah.
off by heart. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just in a recent tweet, would have been not that short of a time ago. I compared her to not really compared, but I referenced her to another manga called One Piece, and in particular, in One Piece, there's a little factor called the Will of D, because there are some people's names that are like Monkey D Luffy, like the initial, the middle name initial, if you will, if you want to call it that. And don't
Okay.
forget, with Japanese, they put the surname first and then the first name after.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's right.
part of this factor of the Will of D is they're able to, attract not just loyalty but love and honor. It's just there's just something about them that makes you want to be around them. And Alita is practically the only other person I know that has that effect, that doesn't have
Yeah.
the letter D in her name. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's for mangas that are so vastly different, you've got a fantastical superpower world like in One Piece. Then you've got the harsh reality of cyberpunk and Alita, and yet there's that one linking thread that's strong. And yeah, it's just the X factor, I guess, is another the other reason why I love Alita. So
Yeah.
that's
You
my
can, when
answer.
did you come into the Alita Army and say, I guess it'd be springtime for you guys in 2019, right? In other words, toward the end of 2019. Is that right?
Mm,
Was it, did you, I thought you told me once it was like October 2019 or
I
something
believe
like
so.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which,
yeah, it couldn't have been 2020. I don't think I would have been I mean,
yeah, I think,
just clearly looking at history, I'm as nuts about it as everyone else is. So I can't
yeah,
imagine, it was around the August, September sort of way. I can't imagine
yeah,
that being August, September of 2020, because that just would have been way too long.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Cause I think you came in the Elite Army before I did. Because I came in around, say, March of 2020 is when I came in. But yeah, I think because I remember you telling me one time you came in late 2019, I think is what you said. But
Well, not
what?
that it's a race or anything, but it was definitely before you came in.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
obviously this live stream was born from Den, so, and I
yeah,
was
that's
live
right.
streaming with Den at the time, so I definitely would have known quite a few people in the fandom by then.
Yeah, yeah. I think at that point you knew more people in the fandom than I did when, because you and I'd get on Dan's stream, and I was kind of, I'd been, I guess I'd been in the fandom maybe 6 months, maybe 4 or 5 months, something like that. And I think you'd been in about a year, or something like that. That's what I remember about that one. So,
Mm.
uh, what about her martial arts ability, Angelus? Do you identify? Kunstler had said that that was one of the things that he liked about it, is that when he saw the movie, he related it back to the manga, and of course, the way she threw kicks and punches would be the way you would be taught how to throw a kick or a punch in the martial arts. Does that ring true to you too, or does it go beyond that?
I how should I put it? It was like the cherry on top or the icing on the cake for me, but it wasn't a main factor. Also, despite having a martial art background, because I don't know, it's for me, it just not to say that it didn't or that there's nothing wrong with it, but for
Yeah.
me, it just went a lot deeper than that, rather than just like the flashy surface of
Yeah.
her being able to fight. Like, I mean, for example, you were initially put off because you said you didn't want to see like a teenage girl, either
Yeah.
getting beat up or doing the beating up, which
Yeah.
obviously, on surface level doesn't make much sense at all.
Yeah.
But once you got to watch a movie, you got
Yeah.
pulled in just as much as I did. And
Yeah. That's right.
same with the martial arts for me. Like it was like a very nice sort of, hey, she knows how to fight too. Hey, she's badass, she's kick ass. But
Yeah.
it wasn't the main reason. It was one of them for sure,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
99%. Um, but yeah, it wasn't the primary factor.
Yeah. A female that has ooh woo and knows how to fight. That's a good thing.
In saying that, like one of the main things that really attracts me to a girl is like she can actually kick some physical ass. So
Yeah.
again, like I said, it lends credence to the fact that I said that, she can kick ass and look good doing it, but it wasn't the main
Yeah.
factor. It led to something much deeper.
You remember you and I did a stream. It was similar to this a little bit anyway, about what we liked about Aaliyah. And I remember all the points you brought up were a lot more in depth than mine. I think yours was a little more dove deeper. Mine was a little more superficial, I think. So, okay. Anything else that you can think of there, Angelus, about Alita that you like a lot or love a lot about her?
The color purple.
Yeah, the color purple. Yes, wasn't there a movie about that? I
Yeah,
think
I
there
mean,
was.
I initially loved purple because my favorite Ninja Turtle, funny enough, when talking
Oh,
on childhood
okay.
heroes, was Donatello.
Yeah, that's going to say Donatello.
And
Yep.
ironically enough, I loved him because he was a brainiac and I wasn't.
Ah, I see.
I
Okay.
wasn't very much of an academic. My grades were quite literally just average C grade. But
Yeah.
he was like, when it came to anything tech, and it's amazing how true that became more and more as I grew up because I realized all of my techie friends I'd be going to if I ever had a computer problem, and then as I matured and grew as an adult, I noticed that you know like all your like there's one friend of mine called Chris, and he's a bit of a techie as well, and like anything that goes wrong or I've got a couple of grand in my pocket, I want to buy a new PC, what do you recommend? Yeah, we all go to him sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's why I was trying to lead it back to a leader here. That's why I love Donatello. So my favorite color was always purple. So again, while it wasn't the main factor, the fact that
Hmm.
you know, like Alita's like one of the primary colors is purple in a like overall
Yeah.
design. Just it was you know just almost orgasmic
Yeah.
from like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
visual standpoint. So loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
And then
Okay.
again, I'll finish off by saying that I'll always have and always will say, and I'll die on that hill, where that the 2019 movie is and always will like hold a special place in my heart because it's like it completed what I call the holy trinity of Alita, manga, anime, and live action.
Yeah.
And all of them worked well in cohesion with each other. And that main number one cohesive factor is the lady that's on our screen right now. So
Yeah.
I already do
Yeah,
have this
she.
photo, by the way. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you gave me this for your PFP originally, so
so
oh,
yeah, and like sure, like absolutely love all of Rose's other work, as I do like many factors about Alita, like knowing martial arts, for example. But you know, her number one movie, in my opinion, obviously is Alita, and yeah, it's just that one movie that all the different way things could have gone differently. What if Rodriguez hadn't asked Cameron about Alita? What if she, got held up or didn't have a car anymore and couldn't make it to the audition because of, like, I don't know if anyone remembers the story, but Rosa mentioned that she got a parking ticket when Rodriguez
yeah,
called her up, and the parking inspector said, "Why are you so happy? I'm giving you a ticket." And he goes, "Oh, because I just got the role of a leader." And
yeah. Now
so many things
yeah,
could have gone differently, but the stars literally aligned, I guess, is
yeah,
basically what I'm trying to
they
say.
did. Well, they certainly got the right person to play Alita, that's for sure. Okay,
And of
I guess
course,
not. Oh, go ahead.
oh, like on that as well, like I have no doubt that there would have been other capable actresses, but again, it circles back to that, the stars aligned. Like, it was destiny, fate, all of that rolled into one, that a leader live action was to be made and it had to be Rosa Salazar and no one else.
Yeah, yeah. I know at one point we talked about Zendaya was one of the people who was being considered for Alita, and she would have probably been pretty good, But I think Rosa, I think it just seemed to be a perfect fit, for me. Now Zendaya would have been good, there's no doubt. But Rosa just, man, Rosa is Alita. So I mean, that's the way that worked out. So it worked out good for all of us in the Alita army, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
So yeah. All right. I guess Creek will kind of get in here. I guess for
Go
me, I
Creaky.
one yeah, I guess certainly like Angela says, the uwu thing is kind of up there on the list. It's not the only thing for sure, though, But I mean, the story, and I think Angelus told you about his story when I first. Of course, I've told you the story before about how I saw Alita in the manga. I didn't really read the manga; I just kind of flipped through the pages when I was in a comic book store once. But just kind of, and I knew who Alita was. There was no doubt about that. But when I saw the trailers in early 2019, and I think it must have been that first trailer because I've heard people say that first trailer was not as good as some of the others. For one thing, her eyes were off, I guess, in the first trailer. But that wasn't. Oh, there's Jeff again.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that was the overriding factor for me. It was just like, well, I don't want to see teenage girl. Just kind of like Angela was saying, I don't want to see a teenage girl beaten up on androids, cyborgs, and robots, or her getting beat up or whatever. I don't want to, I'm not interested in that, type thing. And then, of course, I was on a business trip and I happened to be flicking through the channels on, because we were going into COVID and I didn't want to go out, for one thing. So I was kind of flipping through the channels and I got to HBO and Alita Battle Angel was on HBO. It was just coming on. I mean, the 20th Century Fox thing was just coming on, and I thought, well, I mean, hell, I ain't got nothing better to do. I may as well give this a shot, and that was a really good thing because, I mean, I was hooked when she opened her eyes in the bed. I was hooked right there. I mean, it wasn't completely set, but the hook was definitely, like when you're fishing, you got the hook out there and the fish sees it and there it is. You got him, So, and then
You were
it
hooked.
was,
You just got to be reeled in.
That's right. I hadn't been reeled in yet. Of course, the old "F Your Mercy" scene is kind of the one that reeled me in. I remember seeing that scene, going, oh my God, look at that. It was just really, whoa, this is great. So anyway, and it was. I loved the movie so much that it came back on HBO like 2 nights later, and I stayed in the hotel just to see it again. So I saw it 2 times in 3 days. So anyway, and I just loved it. And then of course got on Twitter, and started. I'd been on Twitter for a while, and I kept seeing these tweets about the Alita Army, and I kind of, I would certainly had seen the movie, and then I said, what is this Alita Army? What is this? And I, went and looked at the hashtag and all that, and then of course, kind of ran into a lot of folks like Angelus and Maxie and Vladi and Dennis and Star of Ellie and so forth, Dizzy, and just kind of gradually got into it that way, and then. I think my first time on the Radio Chaos stream, I remember I was kind of excited about getting on the stream, stuff like that. And I got on and my mic wouldn't work. So I just wouldn't work no matter what I did, So I was in the stream, but I could only communicate through the private chat. So anyway, that was kind of a debacle, that one, But anyway, it was, what I like, I guess, about Alita is, I guess throughout my entire life, which is quite considerable compared to all of you, I'm sure, that, I've always been attracted to like strong women, and Alita, when you got past that first, it looks like we lost Safani.
Wait, you're attracted to strong women and you're a power lifter?
Yeah,
I see the reference there.
Well, no, that's okay. I've been lifting weights for strength for about 25 years, but I've kind of always liked, strong women, and of course that was, you get past the first part of Alita, she's a little girl, or maybe 14, 15 years old, and that kind of thing. And then of course she gets that berserker body. It was like, whoa, kind of thing, she's more of a woman in that body, but I really liked the F Your Mercy scene, and I liked the ending, the ending scene where she's a completely different person at the end than she was at the beginning. At the beginning, she's kind of innocent, cheerful, and at the end, she's a stone cold killer, she's a killing machine, So anyway, and I like that development of the character that way. They showed you how she progressed through all that, and they did a really good job in 2 hours. Now we've talked about, in several other streams about how, the movie was originally supposed to be 2.5 hours, and they had to chop 30 minutes out of it and stuff like that. But even though they had to chop a lot out of it, I thought it was still really good at developing Alita as a character, and I certainly like her perseverance and determination. She sees the target, and it doesn't matter what it takes, she's going to hit the target. And that's and that was really that F Your Mercy scene was part of that. Here she is literally chopped to bits, and she still mustered up enough strength to ram her hand into Grishka's eye. And that's that one, right? I fell in love with the character on that one. I stood up in the hotel room when that happened. God almighty, like that, but, for me, Alita, is kind of the best of kind of like both worlds. Yeah, she's a cyborg. I like science fiction, that kind of stuff like that, but she's very human in a lot of ways. And it's kind of like Kunstler was saying a while ago, she's not perfect. She makes mistakes, but we all make mistakes, and she kind of works through it, type thing. And I guess that's kind of what I like about her. I think she's, I think she's very human in that regard. Well, certainly she's got a human brain, even though she's 98% machine. That brain of hers makes her very, very human. So anyway, that's my take on her. I mean, and of course I started reading the manga after that, and that's when Angelus and I started kind of reading it the first time going through it. And then that kind of inspired me to get the Mars Chronicles and start reading that too. I still got to get volume 8, but anyway, and it's kind of like Jeff was saying a while ago. There is so much depth in the manga, that you don't get in the movie. And you see more of Alita as you see more to her as a person, I guess, or as not just a person, but as a combatant, as a lover, even. I mean, certainly she had that thing going with Hugo, but also Figure 4, and even I wouldn't say Chaos. I mean, she never really had a thing for Chaos, but there was a pretty good relationship between them, I think. I particularly like that panel where Chaos is trying to get a little too frisky with her, and she's laying on that table, and she slugs him. I love that scene. But it's like Jeff was saying a while ago. There is just so much depth, into it, and you can pick that manga up and start reading it, and it's hard to put down. It's just very hard to put down once you start reading it. So I guess for me, it's the uwu. Her ability to fight, she's really strong, and she's genuinely a good person, but she, for the most part, but she does have her moments, and she can go sideways on you for sure, and certainly that perseverance and determination is probably one of her best qualities, I think.
Sure.
I think
we
that's
got Robert
another
Bernard out there.
factor. Another factor as well.
Yeah.
Like going from movie to manga. Like the manga is better. I'm not going to deny that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's technically where the story of the movie comes from. But
Yeah.
and I guess that's part of the reason why some manga purists don't like the movie as much as us. But if you went from movie to manga, you were like hooked and reeled in, as I put earlier, by the movie alone, and then you discovered, oh wow, there's an anime, there's a manga, I'll go check this out, and all of a sudden the floodgates just dissolve, and I said the floodgates open, and you discovered that there's an entire fucking universe out there of Alita, and like you just like your mind's blown by the you could almost say that the movie was tame, or like the movie was only touching the tip of the iceberg, to use another Cameron reference. Of the world that Alita lives in. And yes, definitely, of course, that the manga goes into more detail, has more backstory, and there's only so much you can fit in a 2-hour movie. Another reason why people complaining about Avatar being 3 hours plus long is full of shit. But yeah, so going back to Alita, like that's another thing I love about the movie, because you get treated to like this like 2-hour long trailer, if you will, of Alita's world, and then when you do go reading the manga, when you do go see the anime, especially if you haven't for the first time, it blows your mind, and you if you thought you were hooked and reeled in by the movie, you're like entrapped now by the manga.
By the way, folks, I put a link in the chat if you want to come on. Notice Robert Bernard's out there from Science Fiction Remnant. How's it going there, Robert?
Hey, Robbie.
But anyway, click on the link, and you can tell us what you love most about Alita. We'll listen to you. We're not. We got Safani's son just came back on. I guess he had to drop off for a second.
And whether it be Robert or anyone else in the chat, even if you just wanted to come on for like 5-10 minutes, say your piece, then you have to go because, you know, real life comes first sort of thing. That's also fine too.
Yep. And yeah, Robert, we're doing great. Yeah, we're going to cut the stream a little bit short today because the Creek's got to get up early in the morning and drive all the way to Missouri. So, you know, but anyway, yeah, we're still anytime we want to talk about Alita, you know, we're not gonna skip that. We're not gonna skip that opportunity, you know. So
Another one of the many things that loving Alita makes us do is like, you know, by hook or by crook, we'll, you know, fit an Alita stream in here somewhere.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, thanks, Robert. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, Alita, you know, I mean, I think we talked about this last week, you know, that Alita, and it's not that she is forcing us, because certainly she's a fictional character, you know, but now Rosa Salazar isn't, but, you know, we're not forced to do anything. We just want to do it. You know, and you know, being in the Alita Army, you want to do stuff like this. You know, you just want to, you know. And I kind of like what I guess what Angela said a while ago, that, you know, that I know I came in on the tail end of all this, but there was a lot of haters out there for Alita, you know, which when I saw the movie, I said, why do they hate this movie? You know, for me, you know, of course, now when I first saw the first trailer, I didn't hate the movie. I just really didn't strike me as something I wanted to see, you know. But, you know, once I saw the movie, I thought, I don't know why people hate this movie. I mean, it's not, you know, I mean, it's a movie, you know, I mean, what is there to hate, you know, and the story's good and the character's great, you know, so, yeah, I never figured that one out. And when we do get that sequel and we do get a series and some more anime and stuff like that, you can be sure the haters are going to come back out, but we'll be ready for them this time, I think. So,
Yeah, we'll be more experienced, more mature, more witted. And because it's such an important factor of Alita and even our fandom in particular, I just wanted to reiterate, you know, Alita doesn't make us do anything. Like we're not jealous. We just love Alita with the entirety of our hearts. And like you said, and I swear to God, I was thinking this just as you were saying it too. So get out of my head. But what was I thinking? Oh yeah, make versus motivate. Alita doesn't make us do anything. She motivates us to do this. She motivates us to, you know, get up early in the morning or late at night for live stream. She makes us make videos and artworks and like just constantly, like Vladi, like, and hats off to him. He's a tweeting machine. Like just never ever shut up about her, and because we love her that much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and there are a few other characters that makes her motivates us. I was about to say
like
the wrong
that.
word there.
Yeah.
Like you know, before her it was like the Ninja Turtles and Broly from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And then to think Alita in the space of 3 short years, or less than that even, in the space of 2 hours, you know, she basically asserted herself as, you know, the queen of my quote unquote motivations.
Yeah, that's right. Well, she also motivates us to do things like fundraisers. You know, I mean, you know, I mean, one of the things I like about the Alita Army is how, you know, how generous they are. You know, how
especially this one guy that in one of the fundraisers, he just dropped like what, $500,
something like that. Well, who was that? Well, there's one guy did drop $770. But who is that guy? Well, anyway. So, but anyway, yeah. But Alita does that for us. You know, I mean, she does. I mean, we're happy to do it. It's not a big deal. Not for me, it isn't.
in
know?
all fairness, we would have put that money towards Alita merch anyway. So
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. It went to a good cause. Exactly. So, okay, guys. Wow, I think we kind of beat that one up pretty good. Did we miss anything?
I don't think that we really missed anything. It's just a matter of we could have gone on and on and
Oh
on.
yeah, we could we could go on for another 2 or 3 hours, and Creek could be driving across country with 2 hours sleep, so that wouldn't be too good. Yeah,
There are
that's right,
many
Robert.
things to talk about Alita. This universe is so wide, so many ideas, so many concepts. I think it's a whole universe. I think
Yes,
live stream is going to continue for many years because there are so many things to talk about Alita. And
yeah,
you mentioned it's, this story is great because it's about a female. It would be an Alito, a boy. I think it's not going to be too strong, so interesting, because the man in like a protagonist of a history, I think it's not so interesting like a woman could be. So
yeah,
the female is stronger and the journey for the mission and for how to develop the destiny of her, it's absolutely great. And
yeah,
engulfing the idea of James Cameron from the aliens, because you can check uh, some aspects similar to Alita going in the arm chip, very similar to Ripley in the first movie going in the ship. They are very similar situations, going in the line of the strong female characters, developing
yeah,
all the big humanity and very richness of all the personality and the character that I think a man is limited in all the universal aspects that a woman can develop. So I think
yeah.
all the person is we are catch because the character is a woman. In fact, I think.
Yeah. Well, some guys get defensive, I guess when there's a female empowerment movie out and they feel, I don't know what they feel. To me, it shouldn't make men feel this way. I mean, if you're a strong man yourself, it's good to see someone like Alita, you know, portray strength like this. Now, granted, she's a fictional character, but let's face it, we can take a lot from a movie, and it's a good thing to see anyone have that strength of character like Alita has. So I am not bothered one little bit, by a female empowerment movie. But I know I've seen tweets, especially when I first came in the Alita Army, about people tweeting negative things about Alita, about Captain Marvel, about Wonder Woman, and just putting all kind of nasty stuff out there. And to me, I'd say, well, there's not much to you then if you feel that way, because just because someone else is strong, that doesn't make you weak. I mean, So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox on that one. So, but yeah, Alita does it for us. She's the one that brings us all together. And I know in the Alita Army, people, we all have just a wide diversity of opinions about many things, about politics, about you name it. The Alita Army has got that wide a spectrum. But the one thing we all can't come together on is we love Alita, and we want the sequel, the series, we want the Alitaverse, we want all that good stuff. And yeah, that's right, Robert. Toxic fandoms. I think Maxie was talking about this last week or not last week, but I guess when we were interviewing El Lamont, about how we wanted to stay away from that toxicity like that because it doesn't accomplish anything really. And I've always thought of the Alita Army as not just a positive thing, but we're also like an extended family. you know And it's like next week, next Thursday, I'm going to see Cran and Rido. I mean, when I go back to North Carolina, so that's going to be pretty cool. So, but anyway, that is what it is. And if I ever go to Chicago or some of these places, I'll try to look up whoever is in there as the Alita Army. I'll look them up if I can. So anyway, I guess you're right, Angelus. We didn't miss anything because if we kept talking, we could go on for hours about Alita. We definitely could do that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, it is. But anyways, you can see there in the middle, I guess Alita loves her Uncle Creek, and Uncle Creek loves her. That's for sure. So Robert lives in Florida. Yeah, Robert, you know where Pensacola is? That's my hometown, actually. I think you live in the middle of the state, though, I think. In around Tampa or Orlando, don't you? Somewhere in that area. So I know if I ever get to Florida, Dan and I are going to get together. I guess we're going to spar. He'll probably whip my butt in sparring, but I'm going to crush him on weightlifting. So we'll have a fun time on that one, I think, on both of those. So, but anyway, that's I guess that's it for the main topic. Yeah, Southwest Florida. Yeah, that's right. Oh, okay. You're down there around Naples and Port Charlotte, I guess, Robert, somewhere in that area, maybe. But anyway, that's our queen right there. And I know you got this picture, Angelus, because I sent it to you once, and that's your PFP right now. So anyway, so Rose is great. She is number one in the Creeks book, that's for sure. And she is Alita. She brought Alita to life. I mean, we said a while ago that all the actresses that tried out for Alita were good actresses. And Zendaya would have been a good Alita, but not like this one. I think Rosa really knocked it out of the park. I think, and of course, it doesn't hurt that she's pretty. No, it doesn't hurt in the Creeks book anyway that she's pretty. So, but yeah, I think it's all to our benefit that Rosa is Alita. And she wants to play Alita again too.
Yeah, sure.
You're gonna say something?
She wants to continue with the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she said she.
Remember that
Go ahead.
This month is her birthday, right?
Say again, Alejandro.
Oh yes, that's I like to mention that this month we're going to celebrate her birthday.
Yeah, her birthday's on 16th of July. That's right. And that happens to fall on the day of the Radio Chaos stream too. So we'll probably have a little birthday thing going on there. And on the Alita live stream, we'll do a little bit of a birthday thing the day before, and because we love Rosa. She's great, and she gives us a shout out every now and then too, doesn't she? At the WonderCon, she gave us a shout out. So a couple of shout outs actually. So we really love Rosa. She's great. So
yeah, me too, Craig.
yeah, I agree with you, Stefani. She's number one in Creek's book, and I think she's number one in all of our books. I think so.
Absolutely, though.
And let me ask you something about Rosa. In another live streaming, have you mentioned about astrologic personality of Rosa comparing with Alita?
Not really, because we don't really know Rosa that well. I mean, not her private life. I mean, to me, I've seen some of her stuff when she was on Instagram and stuff like that. And she strikes me as a fun-loving person, and she seems to me like she'd be fun to hang out with and all, but that's the extent of what I know about her. I'm just, because, we're not friends or anything like that. We're avid fans for sure. We are that, but it strikes me that she would be a lot of fun to be around, to hang out with, I think,
Okay. But let me tell you something. I'm a fan of astrology, and I checked the date of the birth of Rosa, and the day
Okay.
that she was born, it was a conjunction in with Sun and Mars. So in fact, she's
Okay.
aware, you know,
Okay.
because that that point, I don't know if you maybe you don't believe in that, but I
Yeah.
think the definitive fact for the astrology is she must be a leader.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll go with that. Now, you're right. I'm not a. Yeah, I'm not I'm not a someone who's into astrology at all. I mean, way back in the day when I was going to college, back when we used to have to take our exams on, we had to chisel out a rock, But anyway, I was a physics major for a while. I was that, and I got into computer science. So I guess I'm more in the old science thing. But hey, if you like astrology, it makes you happy, I'd go for it. I don't have any problem with that. So
Yes, there are very many interesting things about the character of Rosa, and she was the right person, as many people think about. She was the right person to for the character of Alita because her personality goes very well with Alita. In fact,
yeah, I'd sure like to have Rosa come on the Radio Chaos stream. That would be neat. Or if she wanted to come on my stream or mine and Angelus's stream, Angelus and I wouldn't object at all. That's that'd be a stretch for her, I think, and we don't expect it. So we'll still support her. We love her to death. We want that sequel. We want her to do well in her career too. So and she seems to be doing that. She's now being an executive producer on stuff and doing some directing. So she's kind of going along there pretty good, I think. Okay, well, anyway, that's our queen, and yep, Creek thinks she's pretty, and we'll move on from that. Okay, tomorrow on Radio Chaos, I guess we're going to have. Gosh, what's his name? He's in the UK. He writes for Disney. Who is that, Angelus? You remember?
Oh, Ethan Holloway.
Ethan Holloway. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, he's going to be the special guest tomorrow, and Radio Chaos. Now the Creek's not going to be there. Of course, I'm going to be in. I'll be in probably coming up on Kansas City by the time you guys air this. Now I will be in the chat. I'll definitely do that. I won't be able to chat too much because I'll be driving. So I remember the last couple of times I chat, I'd hear something or see something on it, and I'd have to pull over on the side of the road, type it in, and then go and then keep going, type thing, and then something else would come up, I'd pull off the side of the road again, put some more in, It's kind of the way we're operated on that one. But I will be in the chat. So, but I think this is going to be. Why the hell have we not got a sequel yet, folks? Disney, why don't we have a sequel? Now we've kind of speculated on that a couple of times, of course, that I think the fact that, I think Maxie has said that, James Cameron, his credit card is kind of overdrawn at this point, but when Avatar really is a big hit, which I think it will be, Avatar 2, if it's anything close to the trailer, it's going to be great. It's going to be magnificent. He's improved the technology. So I think there'll be, I think Alita's going to be, the green light will be next year. I think that's the Creek's opinion, and I don't base that on anything. I don't have any inside information, none of that stuff. This is mostly my desire, I guess. But yeah, I think next year it's going to be very likely we'll have, if we don't get a green light on the sequel, at the very least, I think Robert Rodriguez will be successful in convincing Disney to do a series, and of course, when that becomes, if they do that, if they go that route, then I think the series, will kind of just give them even more ammunition, for Alita. And when the series comes out, which I think my feeling is it's possible that might come out first, you know, and then when it does, all of us in the Alita Army stop watching Alita on our Blu-rays and start watching it on streaming services. That way the numbers will run up, you know, a little bit. So, but anyway, that's what they're going to talk about. Are you going to be the host tomorrow, Angelus?
No, but it's the last weekend where I work a day shift before I'll start having days off again.
Okay, you're going to be there for the news, though, right?
Yes.
Or oh, okay. And then you got to do your job, I guess. So, keeping the citizens of Brisbane safe.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then watching all kind of stupid stuff. If it's anything like other security jobs I've been around. So, okay, folks. I guess that's going to be all for the stream here. But first of all, why is this image here? Well, that image is there because the creek likes it, and the creek is running the stream. And to paraphrase Gruishka, I am only here for our girl and the Alita Army, like we're all here for our girl. So anyway, that's pretty much it, I guess. And I guess on my you had something to say, Alejandro?
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you, with so many guys like Angelos and many great admirers of Alita, and to have the opportunity to talk about Alita that is so fun, so great, so marvelous to talk about that film, that character, that manga. I think it's very, very nice to have this opportunity to talk about her.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome, and we're happy to talk about her. It's not a chore for us, is it, Angelus?
Not at all.
Yep. Okay, I guess on my count of three, we'll do the call to action you see up there, and that would be 1, 2, 3.
Film those sequels,
sequels,
baby.
baby. All right, good night and good day, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Radio Chaos stream.
Okay, bye-bye.